Growing up and even today, you would hear about seaweed as a drink that could be purchased from a street side vendor in downtown Belize City. It's a milkshake, a healthy drink, often promoting virility. But there are many other products that are made from the marine algae that grow along seashores.
We have been looking at other industries like at the cosmetic industry, the superfood industry. It is used for agar-agar. It can be used as an agglutinator in ice creams, for example. And so we have to look at other industries where we could export depending on the production.
One entrepreneur from Placencia, Jolie Pollard, is the proprietor of Akuma, a results-driven natural hair care powered by sustainably farmed and hand-harvested seaweed. Since 2015, she has creatively merged seaweed and other natural ingredients to create hair products for curly hair. Just last week, she began shipping to Illinois and Florida, and her products can be found in some stores.
I use hand-harvested and sustainably farmed seaweed grown in Placencia by the Placencia seaweed farmers. I pay the full price. I buy it by the pound, and then I take that raw seaweed and then I make it into blend it with my formula. I started in 2015 making my own hair products, and I just kept working on my formula, and I just couldn't get it right. And then finally, when I decided to incorporate seaweed with the other ingredients I was using, I realized that was the missing ingredient.
While Akuma gets its seaweed from Little Water Caye with the Placencia Producers Cooperative, Turneffe Atoll Sustainability Association, in collaboration with the Nature Conservancy and the Fisheries Department, have embarked on a seaweed farming project in which they plan to engage women and men and provide a sustainable alternative livelihood for fishers.
The seaweed farming initiative, our mariculture initiative, basically came as an option to look at how we can decompress the pressure from conch lobster and finfish and look at complementary livelihood. So how can we create revenue streams for the fishers to be able to count on? And so from 2017, we have been working on the technique for the actual farm, the 50 by 50 farm, and finally we came to the submerged technique that you saw.
And so the team at TASA monitors a seaweed farm, or a nursery of sorts, just off Calabash Caye within the Turneffe Atoll Marine Reserve. Tourism Conservation Officer Hubert Gillett gave us a first-hand experience on the water.
What we're doing at Calabash Flats, which is about 2 minutes away from where we are now, we're creating this seed bank. And the reason why we're creating the seed bank is so that at these 8 established fishing sites that we have throughout the atoll with the fishers, what we're doing, we're pretty much creating the stock here, which are then transferred to these fishing camps so that they can start to generate their own farm.
We also monitor the ecosystem to ensure that where we are putting the farms, the ecosystem won't damage, that enough light pass through to the seagrass. And if you notice, there is a lot of life around the seaweed. There's fish life. Many instances there's conch, lobster that we find under the shade of that seaweed.
Once you have them established on the rope system that we're using, once it's established in there, it's very, very low maintenance. All you have to do is sporadically go out and clean the ropes to ensure that the algae is not building up. And also the seaweed itself also grows some additional algae on it, so that has to be cleaned up. As long as that is cleaned up, and it takes about 3 to 4 months to reach to the harvest stage. So when it's harvested, it then needs to be rinsed in fresh water to remove some of the salt content. And once it's rinsed in fresh water, it needs to be dried. Now, as long as this product, of course, is dried, it can be stored for a very long period of time. And that is then the final process that will be then brought to the market.
It's a lucrative business which TASA's Executive Director Valdemar Andrade says can minimize the pressures on the ecosystem as it relates to overfishing. But it is economical for fishers.
There's a local market that would allow us to be able to, for the fishers to sell, or whoever is harvesting the seaweed to sell to the local market for shakes and other things and other areas where we use it locally, like Akuma and those products that have been value added. But there's also a need if production can come to a certain stage where we need to export.
And to put it into perspective, conchs on the local market sells for about $10 per pound. Lobster will retail between $30 to $35 per pound, and seaweed, once dried, that can then be retailed for like about between $25 and $30 per pound.
Duane Moody for News 5.